Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for another episode of Behind the Studs. Give it up for your hosts, Colin Shaw and Jimmy Driscoll. Damn it, wrong button. Oh, there we go. Here's... Can I be done?
Thank you, Megan. Always a great intro from her, huh?
Good job,
Isn't that
Megan.
nice?
Well done.
Yeah, see?
All right.
Last time you were here, there was like this kind of different type of an intro, huh?
Yeah.
Now this is kind of like a full production.
You guys are doing good, man.
Oh, man. I'll
I'm
tell
impressed.
you.
I'm
We're up to
impressed.
4.
Yeah.
You guys will be number one on
4,000?
iTunes.
4,000. Hello, shy.
Hey, everyone. I'm Colin.
Oh, I'm Jimmy. How
There
are
you go.
I just
Hello.
got lost in the number. I'm sorry.
You're already spending that money.
I'm telling you.
Look at you.
Yeah, snapping bands.
So, yeah, snapping fans. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we haven't talked about our rap career in a while either.
No, we can leave that behind for a while, too.
It is?
Well, you know, he's not playing in a band anymore.
No,
which,
it's
you know,
true. Yeah. Yeah, music's just not what it used to
No,
be.
it's not.
Aren't you glad to be back?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So sitting here with us today is Kevin Kapfer.
Kevin Kaff.
How we doing?
Good.
We're doing great.
Thank you.
How's my volume?
So far, so good.
decent.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're good, man. Just relax and enjoy.
Try not to yell.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Don't you worry about no.
Jimmy will yell a couple of times anyway. so-
Probably.
Yeah, a few times. So Kevin's with Rooted Lawn and Landscape. Is that
Yes, sir.
Correct?
Yep.
I got it right.
Yes, sir, you
All
did.
right, good.
Yep.
Some of the things that you do in your company, pretty much a full service lawn care.
Yep.
maintenance.
Lawn garden,
Okay.
plants, any sort of horticultural stuff. Yeah, that's us.
Cool.
Yep.
So you do more on the plantings side of things, or do you do more of the maintenance? Or
It's 50-50. A little,
Oh, cool.
all across the board.
Good.
All across the board.
and I know last time you were here, you were talking. You kind of like that, the more of the landscape, the design, and that
Yeah,
sort of
yep.
thing, the plantings and things like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So
Yep.
I got into it initially really doing lawns heavily, but got into the design and the garden stuff a little more, and
Yep.
it just allows you to be more creative and just a bit more variety.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, not the same thing every day.
Right.
That's cool.
So yeah,
And of course, Kevin takes care of my lawn. And
Trying.
it looks beautiful.
thank you.
Yes, you're
Thank
welcome. It's January now, and it's still green.
You. Good.
Yeah.
Jesus, my lawn is a complete disaster. It's the DMZ of North Korea. It's like, it's terrible.
So he needs to be over there
Oh,
at some point.
Be happy
Real
to help
quick,
you out.
Do you sweeten lawns now with lime? Can you do it now since we don't have any snow and the ground's not frozen? Would you do it now? I had some guy tell me that the other day. He was over for dinner. He was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna sweeten my lawn. I'm gonna throw some lime down." And I'm like,
He's a partier. That guy.
"Cocktail?
Yeah.
Can I get you another cocktail?"
If you have a couple weeks where the weather's okay, where it's not frozen, I would say you'd be okay. But I wouldn't recommend it. I would do it either in the fall or the spring or any
Early
time
spring?
during the summer. Yeah, early spring, short, late fall. You can really do lime anytime, but it's good. It's a good thing to do before you start doing all your fertilizers. So, because your lime is going to balance your pH,
Right.
which is a measure of the acidity in your soil.
Right.
So if your pH is off, then your fertilizers aren't going to be as effective. So say you have a pH that's like 5, which is considered very acidic. You're going to add your inputs, but they're not all going to be taken up by the plant. A lot of it is going to be wasted because your pH is so
Are
low.
the plants dormant now since it's kind of we're in the winter?
Yeah, for the most part. For the most,
Arborvitaes
we've had a couple days where it gets up into the 50s. They might green up a little bit, but they're, at this point, yeah, it's all done.
Okay.
But yeah, so the lime you really want to balance your pH before you start putting your fertilizers down because you're really going to get the most out of your fertilizers.
Lime
Makes
first.
sense.
Yeah, if your pH is off, then you're really just kind of wasting product, and a lot of it ends up turning into runoff, and that's kind of a big issue these days.
Right,
with
yeah.
pesticides
You put-
and fertilizer
Sure.
runoff.
So when you're putting the lime down, you put that down. You don't really want to do it in like full April when it's a lot of showers. You kind of want to have some dry days. So
Yeah, it's okay to do it when it's wet. Yeah, I mean, you don't really want to put anything down if it's really going to pour. If you're
gonna
going to
run
get
off.
a couple inches of rain, you don't want to put anything
Right.
down before.
Yeah,
that.
and last time you
But-
were here, we talked about that. how crabgrass was like so prevalent last summer.
Right.
And
right.
it wasn't because we had a ton of rain, like days of rain, but when it rained heavily.
Yep.
Poured, and then all of the preventatives were gone.
Right.
They just go get washed right away.
Right. So that's what that pre-emergent does for your crabgrass.
Yep.
It's an application that you put down, and it basically forms a barrier in the soil that doesn't allow the crabgrass to germinate. So what's going to happen when you get excessive rain, it's going to break down that barrier, and then it's just going to be no longer effective.
And what's that stuff called?
Crabgrass pre-emergent, they sell it just as that. Pre-emergent crabgrass.
That's all I have.
Get on
That's
it.
all I've got.
It's funny, when I first moved into our house, the neighbor next door goes, "Whatever you do, don't use weed killer." And I said, "Why?" He goes, "Because you'll have no lawn left." He's like, "We haven't used weed killer in my yard for the whole time we've been here." And that's the only thing that's green is the weeds, but not anymore. Because Kevin took care of it. So
I want to take a right turn on this, but it's in the same. What you just said, weed killer.
Mm-hmm.
You, my friend, there's a lot of controversy going on, and the results are starting to come through. There's a lot of medical problems now. Sure. I know when you say Roundup, people either flare up and go, it's just water and salt. Other people say it's not. It's more than that, and you're getting effects. You're getting physical side effects and cancer from it, from what I understand. What is your take on that? Back up 1 second. I met a guy. He was working on a condo unit, and he was spreading out some kind of chemical for the lawn, to sweeten it, make it, like a steroid. And I'm like, dude, do you know what that stuff is? He goes, well, they told me that there's no chance of getting any, they told you. He didn't do any lookup on it himself. They just told him. He's probably getting $12 an hour if he's making that to spread this stuff, spraying it out. So my thing is this. I keep an ear to it, and I hear this. What is your take on all that?
Roundup's tough. It's definitely not good for you. There's definitely been studies that have linked it to lymphoma.
That's right.
Oh wow.
So, and that's a fact. That's totally true. The problem is it's a pretty recent chemical, and there's not enough research and study that's been done on it to really show what the long-term effects are on people.
Wow.
So it's hard to say, but it's certainly not good for you. It's definitely.
So you don't use it?
Well, I can't say I don't. There's an application for it. That's the thing.
And if the client wants it, they're going to use it.
Sure. But if you use your protection and you apply it at the right rates and you're not putting it all over everything, then
keep the animals off.
Knock on wood, I think you're okay. I think the big scare with Roundup is how much it's being used in our food production, which you're then ingesting plants that have trace amounts of glyphosate is really what the chemical is that's in Roundup that makes it effective. Mm-hmm. So I think the big Roundup scare is really more towards the food consumption than the landscaping side of things.
So being used around gardens and things like that.
Well, sure, around gardens, I guess it's. I can't tell you it's 100% safe.
No, sure, no.
I don't agree. I don't agree with that. I don't. And the reason why I say that is because worse for you, because you're dealing with it every day. If you're applying it every day, even though you're wearing your gloves, you're breathing it. If you're not wearing a respirator, whether it's around you.
Yep.
So basically, if the studies are coming out about that, sorry that I'm getting on this for a second, but I know because
this is a topic that people pay attention to
all the time about it, and
Yeah.
I hear about this all the time at dinner with family. For some strange reason, Roundup comes up, and I've heard both sides of the story. It's just they use it in the salt marshes, to kill the hummocks and to flatten it down. It's just water and salt. But I have to say, from what people have told me who live in Iowa, who have used it, where not just bugs but animals become sterile from it. So what's it doing to human beings? Whether you're spraying and applying it, okay, fine, you're killing plants. But if it rains, does that go into the soil? Does that get into your drinking water?
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure. That's the question, and that's kind of the unanswered. We're still
not waiting
there.
to find it. Yeah.
We don't really know. Hopefully it's not too late before we figure out the problems with it. But it's it should be used very specifically and
cautiously.
Follow the directions and cautiously. And
Yep.
and that's the thing with the food production is they're just blanket spraying fields of crops, and the genetic modification of plants. You're aware GMOs. Everyone's aware of those, right?
Yep.
So that's a gene that's inserted into these plants so they can be sprayed with Roundup and they won't die. It basically makes them immune to Roundup. So they can spray the whole field with Roundup and it'll kill everything except for these GMO organisms.
Wow.
So...
And then what does it do to your digestive system?
Yeah.
Go to Europe. Go anywhere in Europe. Anywhere in Asia. They don't use it.
Yeah.
They can't. They won't. They refuse to.
I eat all organic food, for the record. I eat all organic stuff. And
Oh, you do make good money, don't you? Wow, be able to afford that organic stuff.
Yeah. Gotta take
I'm
care
sure
of the
you're
soup.
throwing a hot dog from time to time.
Oh, sure. I'm not
Got to keep it honest.
Yeah.
not perfect by any means.
No, but I understand what your plants and your greens. Yeah, you almost have to. Yeah, right. Right. I got it.
And then I don't use it every day. I use it in little places here and there, and try to really be smart with it, because you're certainly not being a steward of the environment if you're just going around spraying it recklessly.
I'm sure you have some of your customers who come back and say, I don't want Roundup on my stuff.
Totally.
Do you have organic? Do you use organic sprays?
Yeah, there is a decent organic option, which is a citrus oil. But it's the same thing. It's going to kill everything it comes in contact with. So it's good to use if you have like a stone driveway or walkways, or even gardens. If you can spray the weed without getting it on any of the plants, it's effective that way. But it's more expensive, and it's definitely not as effective. But it's a viable, safer option.
But I would imagine that comes up with your customers too.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure they ask that question.
Many people are against it, which I prefer. I prefer, and it's a matter of managing people's expectations when it comes to any sort of pesticides. That's really the only reason we use them, is because people want a certain quality of a lawn or a garden. Right? People want perfect lawns, and unfortunately, it's kind of a double-edged sword. Where if you want to satisfy that need, you need to use certain things.
I have to say though, crabgrass feels good on your bare feet after the rain. I don't care.
Really?
I'll take what I can get right now. I'm sure later on when Kev comes over to my house, he'll be like, "Jeez, Jim.
Yeah,
just
we're going to get
put
rid
down
of everything.
AstroTurf instead. Just do something."
And that's kind of a trend that's coming around too. Is the AstroTurf?
Is it really?
It's becoming more and more popular.
No
and
kidding.
There's some really good options that it's starting to look pretty real. And if you have a small area, it's probably something to consider.
Yeah, then you don't need to mow it or anything else.
Yeah,
Somebody else out of a job.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Yeah, no.
Grass all the way.
All right, and what else? I don't want to harp on this for you.
Well, I mean, obviously, Kevin's very knowledgeable on this sort of stuff.
Yeah,
so what's your background? How did you get started in this?
I went to UConn. I graduated with a bachelor's degree in turf grass management. I spent some time working with some local companies doing landscaping.
Okay.
I spent about 1.5 2 years doing exclusively organic treatments.
Oh, no kidding.
On
Okay.
lawns. Yep. And just recently started my own company last year, and been on my own now for about a year.
Dude, pump that.
Yeah.
You should pump that.
Yeah.
Because people dig organic. They do.
Totally. And I'm a total fan of it. And I hate to say it, but it's a little more expensive, and
So?
It is what it is.
and the effects aren't there. The realistic thing about organics is you could do a bunch of treatments all organically and see hardly any improvement in the lawn sometimes.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
a
almost
50-50 mix
It's,
then.
you almost need to use synthetics at the beginning to get it going, to get you into a place where the lawn is really almost perfect.
Yeah.
And then you can transition over to organics, and that seems to be the most effective way of doing it. So,
Interesting.
yeah.
Now, would you say most people would go into landscaping with your degree, or do they do something different?
No, most people that I went to school with go into the golf course industry,
Okay.
or they'll go into athletic field maintenance.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I took an internship with a landscape company my senior year, and I liked it, and so I kind of decided to keep going that route.
Didn't want to do the golf course thing, huh?
Not so much. Golf course people can be pretty uppity.
Yeah.
Can be pretty uppity,
Yeah. If you're in
hard to please, and it's a pretty stressful job. A lot of my professors were golf course superintendents, and
they decided to teach instead.
yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep those guys happy. They pay a lot of money
They
to
do.
go out there, and
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure if you're in a public course, that's probably a lot less stress than one of these high end country clubs.
Yeah, sure. But then there's budget constraints. If you're working on a municipal course,
right?
You're only working with a certain amount of money, and you still have to keep people happy.
Yep.
So there is a big turnover rate with superintendents in that respect.
Interesting.
Wow.
Yeah, and they probably do as much work as a business owner. To be honest with you, they put in a lot of hours, and it's a labor of love. The people that really do it really have to love doing it. And
nice.
Yeah.
So now, as the expert in the room,
You?
no, not me.
Okay.
No, Jeff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, Kevin. You'll see the promo. You'll understand later. So a homeowner that's listening and says, you know what, I really can't afford to hire somebody to take care of my lawn and get it the way I want to. What are a few things that they could do on their own to at least see some sort of an improvement? Obviously, it's not going to be at the level of what you can do, but what can they do to get started?
Okay, so there's a few things that I think a lot of homeowners do wrong that can make a big impact on the quality of your lawn. The biggest thing is mowing.
Okay.
Mow your lawn frequently and mow it properly. What I mean is, in the springtime, if your lawn's growing 6 inches a week and you're only mowing it once a week, and you're going out and you're hacking off, half of the length of the blade of grass.
Too much stress on the grass.
Yeah,
right?
and you're leaving clippings all over the place, and you just have it's just a mess.
Yep.
So you want to mow, the best way to mow is to follow the 1/3 rule. So basically you don't want to remove more than 1/3 of the leaf blade at a time.
Okay.
So say you're mowing your lawn at 3 inches, 1/3 of 3 is going to be 1 inch.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So you want to cut it every time it gets to 4 inches.
Gotcha.
And you just want to take a little bit off every time, and that's gonna ease the stress. Because imagine if you took yourself and just cut it completely in half. It's going to be much more stressful than if you just take a little bit off here and there.
You can take your word for it, but yeah.
Sure. And then so that's a big thing. And then bagging.
Now, yes, okay, yeah.
We'll go right into bagging your clippings. So it can be a kind of a misconception. There's a school of thought that you should always return your clippings into the lawn when you're mowing, that you shouldn't bag them and take them off. And that's true to an extent. But if you're the type of person, like I just said, that's only cutting your lawn once a week in the spring, and when you're leaving clumps around after, you definitely want to bag it. Because what's going to happen is those clumps are going to, not only will they suffocate the turf that's underneath them, they also create a really good environment for disease and funguses.
Oh, no kidding. I didn't know that.
To thrive.
And what do they call it? Thatching? Is that what it's called? Thatching?
Well, thatching is more talking about underneath the blade, in between the blade and the soil. There's a little layer in there that's considered a thatch layer. So if you go and you pull your blades down, you're gonna see it's gonna look like hay, kind of, before you see the soil, there'll be that layer.
Yep.
So you want to keep that to a minimum as well, because what that's gonna do is that's gonna make it harder for water to penetrate into the soil. It's gonna make it harder for fertilizers to get down in there. They're gonna get stuck in that thatch layer. So you want to control that.
Now, what about a mulching blade on your mower?
Yeah.
Is that
I
better?
got a
Yeah, it's certainly better.
Do you? You have mulching?
I mulch.
Blade? Yeah.
But I have a bag too.
See, I won't bag because mine gets clogged all the time. It drives me nuts.
Freaking stop and just unclog it.
Like
I know.
Yeah, like every 5 seconds, I'm down there on the grass, ripping it out.
Dude, that's our exercise.
No.
Yeah, bend over, pick it up, shake it, sweat a little.
I'm out.
Are you on a? You're not on a sit-down lawnmower, are you?
Of course I am.
Pussy. God.
Do you know how old I am?
I don't
of course
care.
I am.
I'm older than you. I do a push mower, so the wheels move. That gives you. That's great exercise.
Sure.
It's great exercise.
And it's better for your lawn, to be honest with you. The less weight that you're using on your machine.
You hear that?
Are you saying I weigh a lot?
Fat bastard. Fat bastard on your lawnmower.
Jesus, he turned against me like so fast.
Drinking your coffee. Not me. I got my sweatband on. I'm working it.
Oh boy.
Well, that goes into another point. If you're mowing and you're using a heavy, like a lawn tractor or something, you want to change the pattern that you're mowing. You don't want to go over it the same direction every time.
Yep.
just because you're going to start creating compaction. So you want to switch up your pattern, and that's important.
I've got the straight back and forth and the other way and then the diagonal and stuff. I just keep rotating it every week.
Yep.
Oh, you're such a
See
good
that?
boy.
See? And I'm sitting down.
Yeah. And you're sitting down.
And I'm sitting down.
Oh, and I'm exhausted.
Making pretty designs.
Cutting my lawn on my tractor.
You know what's funny? When we first moved into our house, you see my lawn. It's a good sized lawn to mow, push, and everything else. So I wanted to get a tractor. My wife's like, "No, it's good exercise. I'll do it. I'll mow." I said,
she didn't
"Okay."
do it.
No, she did for about 3 years. And she's like, "I think we should get a tractor." I go, "No," I said, "It's great exercise. I don't think we need a tractor." As soon as we got one, I took over.
She was cutting it exclusively for the first 3 years?
For just her, yep. Because she wanted to use the push lawnmower because it was great exercise. About 3 years later, not so much.
Well, mine's not push. I got a motor. I got a Husqvarna.
Oh, stop it.
Self-propelled.
Yeah, it helps. Up the hill, asshole.
Please.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, Mr. Exercise.
Yeah, well, when I'm going up a hill, I use a little help. I'm 58 years old. Shut up.
I use a car to get around too, so yeah.
Oh, my God.
What's the point?
Oh, my God. Hey, you get stung by bees a lot?
Yeah, a couple
Weekly?
times a year. No,
No?
a couple times a year.
Really?
Knock on wood.
Wow.
I haven't gotten it too bad, but it happens. It happens.
Have you ever hit a full nest?
Yep.
Yep.
Just kind of.
Run quick.
Yeah.
Was there a pool nearby?
Nope. No pool nearby.
Nope.
But yeah, I got Lyme disease a couple years ago too.
Oh, wow.
That was terrible.
That does.
That was bad. So that worries me a bit.
Yeah.
So it's still in your system now, though, right?
Right,
So
it never leaves. Right.
I think some people get it and some people just don't get it. I mean, I'm knock wood. I'm like, wow, I'm in the thick of it all.
Yeah.
And I've never had it, as far as I know. I've never. No, I've never had it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I had it once. Many years ago, so I've been fortunate it hasn't come back.
Doesn't flare. You don't know flare-ups. You get flare-ups?
No, I haven't.
Good.
Knock on
Yeah.
wood.
That's good.
But I'm more conscious about things now. Before I got it, I wasn't too concerned about it. But now, if think I'm in an area, I'll wear long sleeves.
Yeah, smart.
All that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because it was bad. It was.
Oh yeah,
terrible.
it's no fun.
It was no fun. I've never felt sick like that before.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, those are the elements. Sun. We're dealing with sun. You're dealing with hot days.
Yep.
There's definitely some physical elements involved with it. But
my good friend who I grew up with, who started a landscaping company years ago, his son's running it now. The sad story of it was that a few years ago, for some reason, he went and got a checkup, and the doctor saw like a freckle on his leg, on his calf, and he said, "Let's just check that out." And it was like nothing. But the doctor caught it and just said, "Let's get that checked out." He took a big chunk. He had melanoma.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, sure as shit, he's got it again.
Oh.
Really bad. I mean, he was on chemo. It ran through his body. He got lymphoma and melanoma and stuff like that, and that's from the sun.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm guilty of it too. You're in a rush. You want to get things done, and you're not always thinking about taking care of yourself, and so it's an important thing to.
Well, it's the thing you got to do.
Yeah.
You can't do nothing for nobody if you can't take care of yourself.
True.
Yep.
Yeah.
But in our line of work too, we probably don't always take as many precautions as we need to as we're trying to get the job done.
Sure.
At this day and age, dude, I'm working. I was putting a subfloor down today.
Yep.
I got my safety glasses on.
Good.
I got my ear protection on.
Yep.
I got guys in there using the cutaway saw.
Oh, yeah, those things are loud.
Like nothing. Nothing on the ears. And they're like, what? Huh? What? Huh? And it's terrible. It's awful.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I'm that way. But I'm going to be 30 this year, so I got to start.
Oh boy.
I really got to start.
boy.
I got to start
gotta
looking
start
after my
wearing plugs,
suit.
man.
Yeah, no, I know.
Earplugs.
I know earplugs, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Sunglasses.
Oh, great.
In a rush sometimes, though.
Behind the studs, after 10 years, we're gonna have Kevin back on the show. Kevin's got glasses on. He's like, hey, it's good to see you. Yeah. He's all twisted up, man. My line disease just kicked in. Yeah, I can't do that anymore.
Oh, he paints such a nice picture.
I've
doesn't he?
got a lot of guys working for me now. Yeah, I sit in my office like Stephen Hawkins, and I just talk to them.
Hey, man, it's a possibility, I suppose.
You never know.
I suppose it
You
is.
never
Take care of
know.
yourself, man.
But
We need you, bro.
But I love, you work in an office, you get carpal tunnel or
That's
whatever.
right.
Your
There's
back
always
is all screwed up
something
for sitting in a
somewhere.
chair.
Yeah.
It's,
God.
the grass is always green on the other side.
know.
Hey, wow.
I look at it more the benefits of being able to spend my time outside.
That's
and
right.
That's
That's
different
right. Yeah.
places.
That's great.
Yep.
So
I've known two people, two widows. I've worked on their house. Both of their husbands dropped dead on their lawnmowers.
Really?
Sitting on the alarm, sitting on the tractor.
Really?
Get off your tractor, asshole. Get out there, start pushing. Really?
Wow.
She came out there and...
You know what? That wouldn't be so bad. I'd
I
be
don't
okay
think-
with that.
A lot of people really like cutting their lawns.
I
so that's
do.
probably
I
a
actually
good-
do.
not a
I
bad-
actually
like
do.
said, not a bad
I
way
do
to
too.
go out.
I think it's very therapeutic. You clear your head, good to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're clearing your head all day. You're out there going, no, I'm teasing, but
Yeah, right. No, sure.
But
Yeah.
if you're doing what you love, that's great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
So that's great.
Yep.
So
This is what we
back
love.
back to
ahead.
more informative information.
Oh, the mulching blades. We didn't finish
Yes,
the
okay,
topic
go ahead.
of the mulching
Please.
blades. So
Yep.
so they work. The big thing is just, once you're done mowing, take a step back and look, and you don't want to be able to see any clippings. If you can see some clippings, then you got to bag it or go over it twice. If you've done it once and there's just a couple clippings in there, go and cut it again.
Okay.
But
Clean them up.
But the big thing with the mulching blades is just to reduce the size of the clippings. So, but that can all really be told just by a visual
Okay.
appearance.
Okay.
You'll know if you should do that or not. So,
So now I use the backpack blower
yep,
after I'm done mowing,
Which is
So I
great.
blow the clippings around.
yep,
Yep.
So that's
Okay,
another
good.
thing. That's something I do quite a bit too, because it takes longer to bag a lawn. So I have a certain amount of lawns that we cut, and sometimes it's quicker to just go over it twice, and then if there's some spots with some clumps, you take the blower and,
Yep.
and blow the clippings away. And to me, that's a quicker way of doing it.
Yeah.
So that's an option too. If you do have a leaf blower, you can do that as well.
Hey, what's the grass? My neighbors have it once in a while. It turns brown in the winter, but it comes up. It's beautifully green. It's thick. It's almost like a golf grass.
Yeah.
Crabgrass.
No, it's not. It's beautiful.
Yeah, that's a zoysia grass.
That's it.
More often than not, up here, that's going to be a zoysia grass.
Is that what you got in my yard?
No.
No.
Nope. That's a bent grass, which is similar but not the same thing. The zoysia grass is a warm season grass, so it thrives in hotter environments. That's what they grow down south.
Oh, okay.
Basically,
Yep.
It's really thick. It's got a good body to it.
yeah, yep. It's like it's a carpet, and if you look at the roots are almost like wire. They're very tough, and
Yep.
and it allows them to withstand drought, high
Mm-hmm.
temperatures. So you will see them around here. Some people prefer to use it up north because they don't get the burnout that occurs from a cool season grass in
Right.
say July and
Yep.
August.
Yep.
August is bad.
It'll look great, but it also doesn't green up until about June, and then it goes dormant, October or something.
So you really don't have- you
you're
don't have-
looking at it
yeah.
as like a 6-month
Yep.
window that your lawn's looking green. And then the other thing is it's so pervasive that it's really hard to get rid of once you've planted it and it's established, because it spreads.
It spreads, yeah.
like mad. So, and it spreads a foot, 18 inches down into the soil.
Oh wow.
So to get rid of it, you literally have to excavate usually about 20 inches of the soil to really think you've gotten it,
So it's called
or you can round it up.
It's called zoysia.
Zoysia. Yep, zoysia is one.
Zoysia.
St. Augustine is another warm season. Centipede is another warm season.
Quackgrass.
Quackgrass. Well, those are also.
Yep.
Crabgrass and quackgrass is also a warm season. As you can tell, it thrives in July and August when it's really hot.
Yep.
And you found out that did you find out the difference of the quack and the crab?
Well, it says that crabgrass is a warm season annual grass, while quackgrass is a cold season perennial.
Yep. They look.
I really don't know what that means, but that's
Well,
what it
so
says,
so the warm season is like zoysia grass,
Okay,
what
yep.
we just talked about, and
Yep.
then a cool season perennial would be like any sort of variety of lawn grown around here,
Okay.
like a ryegrass, a bluegrass.
Yep.
Most of the plants around here are obviously cool season because that's the environment we live in.
Yep.
The warm season stuff is mainly introduced. With the exception of crabgrass and a couple other things that really only come up in a short period of time during the year when it is hot. So, but there are also anatomical differences between crabgrass and quackgrass, and there's a lot of these varieties that are within the same family that to the blind eye they might look
Uh-huh.
the same, but if you get up to them, the leaf blade might have a different pattern on them. They might be curled a different way. One of them might be purple on the stem. So there's little features.
And the homeowner doesn't even give a crap. Just get rid of it.
Right.
But it's got a nice little shade of purple. Get rid of it.
Yeah.
A little fuzz on there. It looks really nice.
I don't mind it.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about the other improvements that people could make.
Okay.
That we started off with. There's a lot of really good information online these days. If you go on YouTube, if you're a homeowner that's really interested in your lawn and you want to dig in and do it yourself, there's a ton of good channels on YouTube.
Okay.
That guys go really into depth with this stuff, and they make it really easy for residential people to understand it. So yeah, there's a lot of good information on YouTube. If you YouTube, I'll give one, the lawn care nut.
Lawn care nut.
Yeah, check out the lawn care nut, and then that'll lead you down another rabbit hole to all sorts of stuff. But yeah, there's a lot of information out there now, and it's not as hard as people think. You could do it yourself. It's not foolproof.
It's a lot of work, though.
It's a bit of work, and you have to have a little bit of knowledge, and timing is important, and you can screw it up.
Yep.
But it's doable. I would start with organics if you want to try to do it on your own. Start with organic fertilizers because you're not going to over apply them and end up killing anything.
Horse manure?
Sure. You could use manure. You want it to be composted though. You don't want. You can't.
Yeah, you don't throw a whole freaking cow flap on there.
Sure. Right.
Or horse flap.
Right. It's gotta be matured, composted.
What happened? Why's my lawn dead?
Yeah, that's one of the best things you can do for your lawn is put compost on it. It's even as
and that's
good
the
as
iron in it.
It has iron, but it also feeds your soil. And that's really the difference between the organics and the synthetics is that the organics are feeding the soil, and then the soil in return is feeding the plant, whereas a synthetic fertilizer is basically going straight into the plant. So compost is really good because it's gonna help develop your soil.
Right.
And if you have better soil, your grass is gonna be able to withstand stresses better.
Good.
Yep.
And the synthetic things, once they're on a strong synthetic program, if you don't stay on it, things can turn quick. In the summer months, once drought kicks in, they really struggle if you don't have supplemental irrigation. So I would say organics is kind of a steadier path along the way where you might not have the peaks and valleys that you do with synthetics, and you might not at a certain point reach the exact level that a synthetic would be on, but it's much more even keel across the board, and that's how plants work in nature.
And would you say don't results overnight?
Right. Well, definitely not overnight.
Yeah.
That's another thing with the organic fertilizers is they take a few weeks to actually even just green up the lawn.
Okay.
A synthetic, you'll put the application down, and a day or two later you'll see
steroids.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good way. That's a good way of thinking at it. Is somebody a bodybuilder on steroids versus like a natural bodybuilder?
What do you know about bad shit?
It works.
It works really good.
It works, sure.
Yeah, you think
You can also call somebody batshit crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
That guy's lame. No, but I have a friend. There's a theater up in upstate New York, Stony Point, Penguin Repertory Theater, and it was a barn. Now they made it into a theater. Great place to go see a show. Sit 60 people. Well, when they were renovating it, it was filled with bats, and the neighbor said, "Oh my God, you got to take this stuff, take the bat guano, and take it and spread it on your lawn. You'll have a great green lawn." Well, they took it, all of it, and they spread it on their lawn. And you know what? Greenest lawn ever.
That's amazing.
One problem. They had bats all on their house, on the screens, everywhere. Because it had the bat testosterone. And the guy was like, no, you just want to sprinkle a little bit, not like piles of it. So it was just basically, hey, we're out of here, now we're over here. The guy had bats on the screens, flying all over his house.
That's awesome.
But a nice lawn.
Beautiful lawn.
There you go.
My lawn is so green.
Yeah,
Sometimes you have to put up with a few bats.
Right.
Yeah.
I wouldn't care. I'd have no mosquitoes either. No bugs.
That's great. That's great that he was able to pull that off, to just take the raw product and just throw it out there.
That's what he did.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want to breed that stuff.
I wouldn't think so.
That nearly
no.
killed Bob Dylan. Remember that? He had bats up in his attic, and he was like scraping the shit off, and nearly died. He did.
Never heard
never
that
knew
story.
that?
No.
Oh,
Bob,
yeah.
Bob Dylan was scraping the own shit off of his house.
Yeah,
Just before he was popular
Yeah,
or something? Or
I'm up in the attic.
Wrote a very good blues song after that. Good
Somebody did write a
inspiration.
song about that. I'm in my attic. I can't breathe.
Yeah, any sort of manure is high in nitrogen, and nitrogen is
Whoa. Easy on that. Any kind of manure? Not like you. No. Wait. Right. You're right. But you can't put chicken shit on your lawn because it's too acidic or it's too potent.
No, you can use. No, you sure. You
But that'll burn
can.
your. I heard it'll burn your lawn. You can put it like if you're in your garden, like if you're trying to pop up onions. Boom! They'll pop right out of the ground with chicken shit.
Yep. Well, they're sure, but maybe you can get some that's super strength or something. But
Chicken shit's fine.
Totally.
Okay.
Totally. Yep.
Well, that's another misnomer then.
But again, it's not. You don't want to be putting raw chicken shit on the lawn. You want to get a product that's been matured and it's kind of a tried and true. And
Okay.
it's a composted chicken shit would be the
Pig is good
better
too. Pig is good.
Pig, yeah.
Pig is very good.
No, I've
Dogs
never,
like pig shit.
I've never
Do
seen.
they?
Yeah.
I've never
Right.
seen pig shit sold.
No.
No.
Well,
I've
farmers
seen
use
bat,
it.
turkey, cow, horse,
Turkey.
rabbit,
Geese.
people
people.
No. Stop.
Jimmy.
from Milwaukee.
Jimmy, that's a great job
From
for you.
Milwaukee.
From Milwaukee.
It's not. Oh my God.
Great product. That's the one. If you're a homeowner and you want to start doing some stuff on your lawn, go to Home Depot and buy a few bags of Milorganite. It's called.
Milorganite.
And yeah, Milorganite is 100% processed human feces from Milwaukee.
From Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Milwaukee.
Yep.
How you from Milwaukee?
From the Midwest.
Man, you guys make a lot of money out there.
But it's good. It works good. It's effective.
Wow.
Yeah.
Only in
All right.
Milwaukee though.
Well, no, you can
Yeah,
bring
I'm
Milwaukee
not
to your
sure-
house.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe you can only do it there or something. I don't know why they do it
Yeah.
there.
Huh.
I'm not sure.
What do they have? Like
Please no.
there's stalls all lined up.
There we go.
All right, Chad, how was your night last night? Yeah, we made chili. We're gonna have a good product today. A lot of producing, a lot today. I tell you. Yeah.
I should say though that a real organic nut would say you shouldn't use human feces because of the metals that are in it. Think of
Yeah.
all the medication that people take.
Sure.
Yeah.
So that ends up getting into the soil, and it doesn't really go anywhere. It just kind of stays in the soil, and so that's the downfall that a real organic person would say, you shouldn't do that. But
All right.
it's quite effective.
Yeah.
It's quite effective.
All right.
So
So what about horror stories? You got any horror stories
Excuse me.
besides me?
I really don't. I wish I did. I wish I did.
No, you don't. We got way too many of them. We don't want to have any more ourselves.
Yeah, my biggest thing this year has been equipment issues here and
Okay.
there, but even nothing. It's
been good, huh?
Yeah, nothing really
Good.
worth telling
Good,
a story.
good.
But I have my hands on everything. You know,
Right.
I don't have a bunch of guys out.
Here's a good question. Since you're a landscaper, what is the best tools that you use? What do you like to use? Because I'll tell you
Like
right
brand
now.
and everything else.
Yeah,
Yep.
because when you go to the dump, you always see the Toro weed whackers right there at the metal section. People are dropping off Toros all the time.
Well, when it comes to mowers, the motor, you want a good motor. You don't really want to have
Right.
a cheap motor. But I like to tell people whatever the best buy that you can get at the time.
What do you use?
I use a Skag, which is a popular. They're probably the top of the line manufacturer.
Commercial.
Yeah, yep. But I use an old one. It's an old machine, but it's got a good motor on it.
Okay.
I wouldn't get too caught up in the brands.
Okay.
Get something that you can get a good buy on and do some research on them. But
What kind of weed whacker do you use?
I use a Still.
That's what everybody uses. All
Yeah.
the landscapers use, and you never see those broken down. I never see those at the dump ever.
For homeowners, the Echo stuff is good.
Yep.
That's
and-
what I have for the
Echo blower.
backpack
Yeah,
blower.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
I have that.
And Home Depot carries a lot of that stuff.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
I didn't even know they carried
Yeah.
that.
They carry Echo. Yeah.
If you're local, there's a really good company called Advanced Power Equipment, and they're out of
Niantic,
Flanders,
right? Or
Four Corners
East Lyme
area.
or something, yeah.
Yep. And they have a whole bunch of Echo stuff. So if you're a homeowner, I would recommend going in there if you're looking to kind of upgrade your
Yeah.
equipment a little bit.
Yep.
You can get something that's comparable to a commercial level, but at a pretty good price point.
Cool.
So
I think mine was around 700 or something like that.
You got the good one. That's
Yeah.
you can get one that's will probably do the job just as fine for $300.
Yeah.
It might take a little more time, not as powerful, but you can get
The guy saw me coming. He's like, I go, which one should I get? He goes, well, you get the best one you can afford. And I said, okay. He goes, have you ever heard anybody complain it blows too much? It's too strong? I said, no. He goes, then buy it. So I
There
said,
you go.
okay, I'll buy it.
Yeah, if you
And it does. It definitely moves.
Wait,
some
you
stuff
got an
around.
Echo?
I got the Echo.
Yeah, I got the
Backpack.
Echo too.
Yeah.
That's like awesome. That's just like.
Yeah, I would recommend that for homeowners. It's good quality and at a good price point. But
Yeah.
you could spend $20,000 on a lawnmower easily. These
Yeah.
days,
Oh, sure, I
you know,
bet.
so
Yeah.
it's kind of it's where you're at. What do you want to get out of it? But the equipment can be quite expensive.
Sure,
They make
yeah.
diesel. You can get diesel motors on these mowers. Just the bagging system, just to collect it, the
Yep.
clippings is like $4,000.
Wow.
Just to add that onto your machine.
Wow.
The base machine's probably 16, 17 grand, some
Jeez.
of the top of the line ones, and then you add that on there. And so,
Then you
yeah,
need
it
a
can be
trailer to
expensive.
bring it all around
Yeah,
and everything
sure,
else.
sure.
So, yeah,
Sure.
there's definitely a cost up front for
Yep,
sure.
Yep. So that was kind of the nightmarish stories. None of them were really nightmarish, but just equipment hang-ups
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
that kind of
Yep.
thing, and kind of setting you back a little bit, which is annoying, but that's the way it goes.
Not running over people's pets or stuff like that.
Right. No,
That would suck.
That
yeah.
would suck.
Yeah.
Anybody see my guinea pig?
Yeah, that would be bad. Bubbles. That kind of stuff happens too, unfortunately.
Yeah, it does.
Not pets, but rabbits, and
Oh.
I've seen it happen before.
Jeez.
Oh.
It's no good.
Man.
That'll ruin your day
This just
real
turned
quick.
into a Disney
Yeah.
movie.
You think you're a real tough guy until you run over a little bunny rabbit.
Oh,
and
really? Oh, man.
You come to
Oh.
terms with your soft side.
Yeah,
real
yeah,
quick.
yeah. I could appreciate that. Yeah.
But
Well, all right, Kevin. Thank you very
Kevin,
much for
that
coming
was
back
good,
in.
man.
Really appreciate it. We learned a lot again.
Yeah,
and hopefully the audio came out good on this episode, so people can actually hear
Yeah.
it.
I hope so.
Yeah, come back and join us sometime.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It was a
Yeah.
pleasure. And anybody, if you want to check out our company,
Yep.
you can check us out on Facebook, Rooted Lawn and Landscape. If you want to give us a call, the number is 860-908-4740. Be happy
Yeah.
to help anybody out. And
That phone's going to be ringing, man. That phone is ringing here. Like
yeah, so we
crazy.
serve really most of New London County, a lot of the shoreline area, down to about Old Lyme. We
Okay.
Don't Old Saybrook, Essex. That's off limits, but pretty much from Old Lyme to Westerly, all along the shoreline.
Okay.
Um,
Well, I'm glad you still will service Old Lyme.
Yes.
Because that's where I live.
for a bit.
For a bit.
Trying
Okay.
to
Special.
tighten the circle a
Yeah.
little bit. But for you, Colin,
I am the nucleus of your circle.
yeah, for you,
Yes.
I'll make a trip for
All
you
right.
any day.
I appreciate that.
So thank you guys for having me. I appreciate
Absolutely.
Hey,
Jimmy, do you
thank
want
you.
to take any calls today? Or
I will as soon as the show is over. The freaking board is lighting up. Oh my God.
All right, everybody. Thanks a lot
Yeah.
for joining us. We'll see you next week.
I think
Thanks,
it's
guys.
a representative from Toro was on the other line.
See ya.